Hello, all you cosmic travelers and wanderers. This is Darlene Grift and K. Melissa Waterman, inviting you to join us today in our episode of Expansion from Within, Exploring Multidimensionality.
Let me introduce you to my friend and dear colleague, Darlene Grift. She is a lifetime experiencer, a medical intuitive, and a multidimensional mediator for over 35 years. She's also an author, an artist, a teacher, and a mentor for spiritually invested people.
And K. Melissa Waterman is my friend and colleague, and she's an intuitive mentor, a spiritual teacher. She also works with energy on many levels. In the past, Melissa has worked with Dr. Joe Dispenza on his research team.
Join us on our journey of meeting multidimensional beings, exploring what it means to be human, and expanding our spiritual evolution. I'm excited because today we're going to talk about the blue crystal. I've got lots of little bits of information about this being, and I can't wait to hear more. Can we start today with their origin?
Her origin is from the Pleiades. There's actually 7 sisters as well as the blue crystal. So there's 8 of them all together. So when you think of the 7 sisters of the Pleiades, that is her sisters. But she was born from a nebula. All of them have been implanted in the depth of the bowels or the belly of Earth early on, before there was any humanity or even any beings on the planet as record keepers. So her origin was being sent from the Pleiades as a mission, because all planets have in some way record keepers, but the Earth is the only one that I'm aware of that has 8 of them.
Wow. How is it that this record keeper that's deep in the Earth ends up having contact with you?
So when I first met her, her first initial, because if you look at the painting, it is not the same as how I first met her. How I first met her, she was a blue crystal that was very much the shape of an egg. She was probably about 12 to 14 inches high. She spoke from that place. Her voice was more of the glow of the crystal. And when she showed up, I wasn't even aware she was in the bed of other crystals. And that's how I first saw her and she holds the Akashic records, where the Akashic records is in the field, in the unified field. She holds it within the Earth. I met her at that point of when she was still in embryonic state. And as we got to know each other, and as the books were written, and as that painting emerged some few years later of getting to know her, her choice to become more human was something that she decided to not be confined in the bowels of the Earth, but she wanted to be more expansive and living in her way of being able to transcend being in the Earth, in that Earth form, and having legs and arms, and being able to have more emotions that were hers and not gathering from others. So she evolved, or chose to evolve, into more of a crystalline human type form.
Wow, that's awesome. Is there anything else about her transformation? I have a recollection, and I'm hoping I'm putting it to the right being, that at some point she stepped back from really speaking with you very much because she was going through her own evolutionary process. Was that the blue crystal? Yes. Or was it?
That was the blue crystal. I mean, some of them have done that, but I can say that in the book, that was a definite understanding that we had, that in her being found as the embryonic blue crystal, and then her choosing to be more, was part of her evolution. That's in the several of the books of how she comes to this form and what it takes to come to this form. It's very much like our birthing process. Like what did she have to put in, not having a parent, not choosing parents, or not choosing what her missions should be, or her lessons, or whatever. She had to put all that together. So it was a very long process of choosing in a very conscious state of who she wanted to be and what she wants to hold.
Does she have the capacity for emotion?
That's what she wanted the most. When multidimensionals choose to be something more human. Their primary focus is to have more understanding and emotional capacity, as well as choice, right? I mean, they have choices as much as we do. I would believe most of them do. Our capacity to create, our capacity to articulate, feel our emotions, be able to express them in a creative way, that's all something that is unusual for a lot of the multidimensionals. So her choosing to come into more of the human form was not just for the form, it was for that experience of having emotions and being able to express them and be creative with them.
How did the blue crystal get involved with the council?
She was brought in actually last in this form that I painted her in after everybody had gone through their stages or their understanding or their me being a mediator for them. She came into last and kind of holding it all together because she holds the Akashic. Her reason for being there or her purpose for being there is to hold the platform or the mission when she was part of the Council of 28, to hold that as moving through our timelines, help it because she would hold the timelines, right? So she holds the Akashic records so she could be more clear and project what those timelines were about so that the clients that I might be working with, or even some of the council members that have stuck unfinished business, she could project what those timelines were so that we together or separately could move through them.
Wow, I'm impressed. I mean, that's pretty spectacular to be able to reveal to us, to them, what exactly needed to happen next. I mean, what was the most important timelines, or what were timelines they weren't aware of? I think that's awesome. Has that changed since the council has evolved into one voice?
Their mission as who they were as the Council of 28 has evolved along with them, right? Their initial mission was timelines and karma, to release humanity from that because that is what's keeping us inhibited in our evolution. So now they're bringing in the cosmic order. But it's not just the Council of 28. As the evolves, there's more in the evolves as this one framework, this one consciousness. There's many more multidimensionals that are in that platform or in that consciousness that are called the evolves.
Can people still work directly with the blue crystal? But the council members become one, they also remain individual.
Yes. So they're still individuals. They have harmonized to become one consciousness for their own evolution and their choice to evolve in that way, because it allows others to join them in that bigger platform. But yes, their timelines still exist, just the same as our timelines existed, and whether we heal it or not, those timelines still keep going on. So yes, for those that have seen or been part of groups that I run with the Council of 28, if they have a resonance with that, it doesn't mean that that being has just disappeared.
Right.
It just means that you still can have that connection with them.
They've
advanced, so they are now that personal place, like Ellie is Ellie in that individual place, but he is also an evolve.
Right. So what else would the blue crystal like us to know about them and their mission, or about how we can assist them?
Well, first, I think it's going to be about the cosmic order, like what is the cosmic order to them, so that we know about that. And it's a neutralized place. As multidimensionals, there is no attachment to gender or color or race or species or anything. It's becoming, or it has become, very neutralized in their own evolution and choice. Cosmic order brings in that neutralization for us. It helps us to understand it better. It helps us to separate the discrepancies that we have with how we judge and look at others that are different than us. Cosmic order is a big developmental place of neutrality for humanity, how to maintain being neutral and not lose our sovereignty, not lose our independence. And it is not without action. I think we mentioned this in a few other places. Neutrality to them is not without action. It is a place of speaking your truth from having neutralized emotions, so that you're not escalating anything. You're speaking your truth in a very matter-of-fact way, or you're articulating whatever that is that you're speaking in a very matter-of-fact way with less emotional impact that would stimulate the person, to bring it to that power struggle, to bring it to the climax of conflict. That's at least one larger piece of the cosmic order. And the other one is they abide by the 7 seeds. And those 7 seeds really keep their groundedness. So the acceptance and the allowance and their commitment, their trusting, their truth, co-creativity, and integrity are all parts of how they lead their lives. Cosmic order is about bringing that in a deeper way for humanity, because we all have that potential.
Right.
The 7 seeds are embedded in our DNA. It's just that we've lost touch with them because of other things. The other things would be our timelines that are incomplete, that have initiated conflict or unfinished business, or our karma that we keep trying to repeat over and over again to get it right. That is what has diminished the 7 seeds of being really forefront of how we lead our lives. So they bring in that as well in the cosmic order.
Right. Well, the cosmic order, it's really interesting to hear how the shift from clearing karma and clearing timelines has moved, it sounds like quite naturally, into the next stage after the timelines are clear, after the karma is clear, that there's this much bigger, I want to say space. I don't know if that's accurate, but it's a much bigger framework to work with.
We're still responsible, accountable for our timelines and karma as we're working through them, because that is what's happening on the planet. Everybody is in their old stuff in some way, and they may not understand it. For those that are waking up, I think they're more aware of, oh, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel like my reaction is really warranted here, yet they have the reaction because it could be connected to another timeline. We're bubbling that information up. We're bubbling all of that up. So they're bringing in cosmic order. It's like a warm blanket. They're bringing that in to cover us in a way while we are in a protected mode, so to speak, through the cosmic order, so that we can do our healing.
And really, that's the most important kind of support that we could ever ask for, really.
If you look at cosmic order, it's light. It would be like bringing in the light over the planet, so that in whatever way that we can access it or utilize it or feel it, or for it to calm us or whatever, it's there for us to imprint.
I have the sense that there are maybe many other beings that have evolved into one kind of a group like this, into one voice, that are doing the same thing.
Yes. Cosmic order isn't the be all end all. It's what they've labeled bringing in this neutrality, bringing in the 7 seeds. When we do the groups on the Sundays during the month, Cosmic Travelers, as we put up the dome, there is always beings on the outside observing. So they're not the Council of 28. And now that they have opened that channel up for themselves, so those spectators, those that were in observance of us for these many years, have now joined to become evolves. I'm sure because there's nothing that is the be all end all. So cosmic order is not everything.
Sure.
It is a large piece. It's larger than the Council of 28, but it brings in a different concept and concepts of how to help us to move through our stuff.
Right. It sounds like we've moved a little bit away from talking about Blue Crystal, and really, can we continue talking about the evolves?
Yes, because she's part of that. I mean, she's a big part of that. It feels like there was a unanimous vote in October of 22 to say we are all ready as the Council of 28, and she was leading that. What I understand in this moment is that that was part of her evolution, that she gathered everyone together and said, here we go.
Wow. What would the evolves viewpoint be of our present world state?
First word that comes up is they see it as chaotic, which we do too. They see it as transitional, that bringing in any form of what they're talking about, neutrality, we might label that as peace and harmony, which they say that, okay, that is trigger words for many people in where we are, for who we are right now. So they look at it as neutrality. So bringing that into this space, they expected pushback. They expected, something, because it takes you from that aggravated place or that intensity, that emotional outburst place of freedom, right? Because we are all in some way trying to gain freedom, not from what we think we need to gain freedom from. It's more freedom from our past and our karmic and our unfinished business. But we say that it's freedom from our governments and it's freedom from, that's all piece of it. When we move into this neutral place, all of that other emotional levels, all of those triggers have to come forward. So they expected a pushback, or why they see it as chaotic, because in this co-creative place, there's chaos right now as we adjust, as we surrender, as we accept and allow. There's all of that needs to happen in the years following what has been put on us as our evolution, what we chose on some level as our evolution. We may not recognize that we chose this, but in our evolution, we have got so gunked up with everything that hasn't worked that this is our time to free ourselves up, to have true freedom on our spirit soul level.
So I see why it would be important for us to keep our vibration high and for us to really embrace the 7 seeds.
Yeah, because that's part of the waking up, right? Is to keep your vibration high. The lower the vibration, the more you're going to feel stuck, inhibited, angry, resentful, vindictive, violent even. The more you are resonating with just, I have no choice here. So yes, the 7 seeds keep us at a higher vibration of allowing and acceptance, of how we can look at things in a different way. We can still hold our sovereignty and our truth. It's not about just moving through life in a way that you have no connection or no resonance with anything. But it does keep a form, and it is part of our chakra system. So acceptance and allowance, moving up from the base chakra, is all about that. So when we resonate, when we hold that, when we embrace those 7 seeds, then we're keeping our chakra system more aligned and we're waking up more.
Can you tell us exactly what the 7 seeds are? Just name them again. I don't mean describe them, because I want to tell everyone that in season 1, episode 10, the entire episode is on vibration, keeping our vibration high, and it's talked about in detail there, but just list them for us.
Acceptance, allowance, commitment, trust, truth, co-creativity, and integrity.
Yeah, they're pretty lovely. Each of those things is such a vital part of who I want to be, who any evolved being wants to be. As I evolve, I want more and more and more of those 7 things in my life, in my core essence.
The commitment for them is the big one. And it's not commitment to them. It's not commitment to a God. It's not commitment to, it's the commitment to ourselves in doing all that we can to become more whole, to become more fully human as we were designed to be, without what was created through the thousands of years that we created it.
Right. I have the sense that they've had a hope for us. And I'm wondering if that shifted, like that there's something that they really need or expect from us now.
They expect us to carry on. That's the first thing, to carry on, like carry on your integrity, carry on your commitments, carry on the non-judgmental, the non-binary. A lot of what they're dealing with now is that culmination. There isn't a masculine and feminine. There's a non-binary, which we are seeing in our lives now. The generations that are claiming this non-binary is the beginning of another choice for humanity, that in maybe 100, 200 years from now, there'll be maybe more instead of the masculine and feminine, and there'll be more of a blending of the masculine and feminine in a non-binary that will be more accepted and allowed. You can still be a man and a female with all the parts and pieces to that, but do you really, can you swing back and forth of the emotional level of however the masculine and feminine have been judged in the past of who they are and how they act in their positions in life? That will be more neutralized.
Right, the rigid rules, the 50s, the 1950s rules of what a woman is and what a role is and what a man is and what his role is, that could use to be lessened and to just get a little more space around, because we're all both of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems.
And that is how we were created or designed.
Yeah, I work with a few people who are non-binary, and it's lovely. And I've had this sense that it really was part of, like, they're the forerunners of an evolutionary change. I love it. And I hate it for them because it's quite extreme and difficult for them, but it feels like a beautiful purpose.
Somebody had to do it, so we have these volunteers that say, yes, I can do that, and I can hold the space for more.
Right. Even though it might be painful, there's a need for more and more, because we love the people in our lives who are non-binary. Sexuality is such a private matter as far as sexual preference, who one wants to mate with, but to be a human that is not binary, to have access to your feminine side and your masculine side, and to not have to stick with one or the other, that seems like a great direction to be going in.
Yeah, so it brings us into all being human, right? So like if somebody was to say, are you, instead of asking, are you a man or a woman? It's like, yes, I'm human.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what the multidimensionals, they're, okay, so we're reptilian or we're Arcturian or we're Pleiadian, but they don't say I'm a female Pleiadian or I am, they don't identify that way. It's not the primary way of talking about them.
It's really true. Is there anything else you have that you would like to talk about today? Because I'm done with my questions.
Just that the evolves hold us as humanity in their hearts. Like that is their part of the cosmic order, is the ability to maintain heart connection without the judgment, without the conflict, without any of that. So they have this space, they consider it part of our white space that we work in with the cosmic travelers. They hold this space of love and connection for humanity because they are not separate from it.
Yeah.
We are part of them. We might have be existing thousands of years before they have existed, but even in their timelines of the Council of 28, go way back to the Anunnaki time, a lot of them. They know, they've lived here on Earth. They know what it takes. They know the evolution of both Earth and humanity and how we got to this point. It's part of their bringing in the cosmic order in their own accountability of how to handle it now.
I love that we're committed together.
Yes. And they wouldn't exist in our future if we didn't survive.
Right. No small matter, really.
No small matter, right.
No wonder they are invested.
Yeah. I mean, going back to the emotional level of and the choice level that we have here on the planet that is significantly different in other planets. It's not the only one that has that in the cosmic order, but being in the chaotic node that we're in, they see us as needing more assistance and have been for, I would say, it started in the 1850s of where they started to see that there was heading down another avenue and we weren't coming back in any way that was spiritually definitive, so.
That makes so much sense. Well, thank you. I have a few announcements to make. I feel like we're complete for today.
Yes.
We would like to invite you to the next Cosmic Travelers meeting. That will be held on March 19th. Also, on March 2nd, there was a huge emporium on the Conscious Awakening Network.org, where Darlene was a guest speaker. And so that's up and ready for you to view. on that website. And you can reach Darlene at soulunion.com, and you can reach me at livingwellbeing.net. Please bring questions. We would love to answer them.
Yes, and have a wonderful couple weeks. And thank you, Melissa.
Well, it's my pleasure. And thank you, Darlene. I learned so much, and I love doing it with you.
All right, guys, have a good day, and we will catch up with you in our next episode.